Now, before we get into the story, you should know that BYU has what's called an honor code, which is basically a code of morals or ethics that students are expected to follow in order to remain students at the university. This includes no smoking, no drinking, no tattoos, no coffee, and no sex before marriage. BYU dorms have chaperones who enforce curfew and visitor rules for residents. Cannon had been living in one of these dorms for a few months when he was approached by a chaperone and made to produce his student ID in order to prove that he was a student at the university. This is a classic example of racial profiling because your average white student at BYU is not going to have to prove that they're a student of the university, especially if they're on their way to their dorm room. The chaperone then told him that he needed to cut all of his locks off in order to adhere to BYU rules. There's no rule that prohibits having locks, and when Cannon refused this, he was reported to administration. Since then, BYU Hawaii administration has been trying to quietly force Cannon to cut his locks in order to conform to these unwritten rules that apply to black students at BYU. Here are the actual dress and grooming standards